taking action to promote self-confidence in youth. In this presentation, I will persuade my audience to use specific strategies to develop self-confidence in children they know and work with. Self-confidence in youth is critically important to the point that developing it needs to be a societal priority. 20% of teens will experience depression during the teenage years. 70% of teenage girls feel they are not good enough in some way. According to Dr. Frederick Newman, low self-esteem is a thinking disorder that produces ongoing self-defeating behavior. This can all be avoided by helping young children develop positive self-esteem in early life. Based on feedback from my previous speech, I found that there was an interest in learning more specific strategies to use with children. Therefore, I will work to persuade my audience to use specific strategies to develop self-confidence in children they know and work with. Self-confidence is something that affects all of society and has an impact on everyone's relationships and interactions. From a study by Jabin Sarawat, self-esteem is associated with anxiety, motivation, and general satisfaction with one's life. As someone who works with young children, I have first-hand experience in helping children develop self-esteem, and I've seen the effects that self-esteem can have on the success of even very young children. It is critically important to society that its members invest and support early childhood education. Caregivers need to use specific strategies to and be cognizant of the importance of building children's self-esteem. Another aspect of my previous speech that my audience members cited in their feedback was how high self-confidence in children has a direct impact on adulthood. To expand on this, I will explain that everyone needs to be aware of their own self-esteem and focus on self-care in order to maintain good health and well-being.
Eye contact. Don't forget eye contact.
I can't because
You can't.
I can't do both. Society must invest in and support early childhood education, as you see here. As a society, we need to prioritize early childhood education and make it as much of a focus as later education. Brain research shows that the first few years of life are critical for the development of children. 700 synapses, or neural connections, are formed every single second during the first few years of life. This slows down rapidly as a person ages. There is a use it or lose it foundation in the brain. The more that connections are practiced and used, the more likely they are to be maintained. This tells us that what we teach early in life really matters. The brain is more plastic-like during early childhood. It is able to grow and change and adapt more readily than in later years. Cognitive, social, and emotional and language skills that affect later years are cemented during the early childhood phase. Quality educational opportunities contribute to a child's skills in all areas. It is especially important that children form close attachments with adults and learn social and emotional skills. Positive social and emotional skills and the ability to form relationships affect our ability to function in society. How adults interact with children and teach them to interact with each other affect their ability to have relationships later on in life. The quality of each relationship is what matters when a child is securely attached. Then they learn that they are worth being cared for and loved. Intentional interactions with adults can make an impact on a child's learning in all areas. By being intentional in interactions, teachers can differentiate learning and help all children be successful. Children gain confidence when they learn to be intentional in their own learning. When a caregiver gives a child the opportunity to guide the learning and have ownership of learning situations, the child gains more confidence. Thinking of the importance of early childhood education and how caregivers can use intentional teaching strategies, I'd like to give some more examples of strategies that can boost self-confidence. Caregivers can use specific strategies to promote self-confidence in children. Belly breathing. This child is sad. She's trying to make him feel better. She did. There are many strategies that can be used to help build up children's self-esteem. One thing caregivers can do is model self-esteem themselves. Even when it's difficult, show children that you can tackle difficult tasks with optimism. Don't pretend to be perfect. Allow children to see, however, that you can have a positive attitude even with imperfections. It's important to let children know that anxiety is real and adults feel it too, but that's something that we don't want to focus all of our attention on. Another thing to keep in mind is that it is important to allow children to fail. Don't get upset when a child experiences failure, and don't try to protect them from it. Letting a child fail teaches them that failure is okay and it happens, and it isn't the end of the world. Show children that they can move past failure and try again, or try something different that might work. Excuse me. Another thing is to expect children to help and pitch in with various tasks. Being needed by your family or classroom family helps all members feel important. Children who have jobs and feel needed feel more connected, which helps build up their confidence. Help children find their passion by exploring their own interests. This will help them form a sense of identity and teach them problem-solving skills. By helping children to understand what a problem is, come up with a possible solution. By helping children to understand what a problem is and come up with a possible solution, will help children learn that problems are solvable and they happen to everyone. Children feel more competent when they learn to solve problems rather than to place blame. Use specific praise to let children know when they are doing things well. Using these strategies will help. Oh, I forgot to tell the strategy. Say things like, I can tell you worked hard on that, or I like the way you did that, rather than good job. Being specific lets kids know exactly what they did well. Using these strategies will help children grow self-esteem as they grow into adults. But adults also need to maintain their own self-esteem and practice self-care. This family went to a pumpkin patch. And they had fun. Adults need to take time to focus on themselves in order to maintain their own self-esteem, which leads to better health and well-being. There are many things that adults can do in order to help maintain their own self-esteem. Practice appreciation. Take time to recognize the good things that you have in your life. When you find yourself being self-critical, challenge it. If you accept your inner critic, you start to believe in failures. Know yourself. Don't compete and compare, and focus on what you can do in your own life. Living in the moment by focusing on doing the best in each moment. Be a lifelong learner. You will never reach perfection, but you can learn and grow throughout your whole life. Keep relationships positive. There is no need to keep negative, toxic relationships in your life. Make sure that you focus on taking care of yourself first. Get good sleep. Get enough sleep. Exercise. Some people do. Learn how to say no to others. Sometimes it is more important to take time for ourselves and avoid being overworked. Spend more time outside. I got this pumpkin patch. Get out in the fresh air. That can have a huge impact on your level of happiness. Don't forget to make self-care a priority and make time for yourself and protect it. These strategies can make a real impact on a person's happiness and success, and I hope that all of you take something away that you can do for yourself. I hope that I have persuaded members of the audience in how to use specific strategies to develop self-confidence in children they know and work with. By prioritizing early childhood education, using specific strategies to build children's self-esteem, and practicing self-care, we can make a real difference. This is something that is particularly important for caregivers and anyone who works with young children to focus on. Take some time to use these strategies next time you find yourself interacting with a child. Are you guys all over 18?
Yes.
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 Yes.